The 18th variation by Rachmaninoff. This is from his Rhapsody on a Theme by Paganini, the concerto. And Randall, this is for you. You've been asking for this for quite a long time. It's for your brother, as far as I understand. So here it is. Let me first play it for you. I'll give you the first 15 seconds or so of the piece, and then we'll take it apart bar by bar so you can learn it yourself. Here we go. The 18th variation. So on and so forth. It's a very straightforward piece. It's just musically, it's very easy to digest, but there are a lot of intricacies here that I'm going to have to really take my time with, especially with what's happening in between. We have the melody, we have a general bass line, and a lot of harmonic foldings that enrich the music. All right, so we'll begin with the left hand. We have this opening. And triplets. And I won't talk too much about rhythm here because it is quite free. I'll make a few cues, I'll say a couple things about what denomination we're doing here versus there, and some combinations of the rhythms, 3 against 4. You'll see that soon enough. But on the whole, it'll be quite free, and you can use a lot of your musical intuition to work out how to play this rhythmically, right? Okay, I should also say that this is on YouTube, but the full tutorial series will not be. Pieces of it will be, but the whole thing is in my library. That's where you can find the whole thing. But for now, we can begin with this. The right hand will begin with a little bit of a flourish to start things off. But we'll cover that in a moment. I'd like to look at the left hand first. D flat major. Very wide, open. 5, 3, across, pivot freely so that you can reach a thumb on A flat above it. Contract, well, I shouldn't say contract, but collapse your hand towards itself so that the 5 reaches the F, open up again. Thumb F above. Pinky travels up, A flat, and A flat with the thumb above. That's the sequence. Very wide. Like that. Be sure that you're pivoting freely across all of this. You shouldn't have any tension in your wrist. If you have tension now, you'll have tension for the rest of this whole movement. Very bad habit to have. So right out of the gate, relax everything. Completely fluid, completely limber. Now the way that it's written, we are in 3/4 time. And so that's 3 beats per bar. The left hand here is written in triplets, which means 3 notes per beat. So if I was to count this out, just to give you some basis for rhythmic coherence, we'd have the first 3 notes are the first triplet. And then the next 3 notes are the next triplet. And then the last note is on its own, covering the last beat. So if I was to count this out, we have 1, 2, 3. There's your first bar. Next, we move forward. Same thing. But instead of finishing on the thumb, comes in. And the left hand in that moment is 4, 3, and 1. And the 1 falls to 2 on G flat. So that second bar once more is 1, 2, 3. Like that. You can have one pedal down for all of this. It's all the same harmony. Here's your first bar. Like that. And there's your left hand. Now the right hand opens up with that flourish, as I said. Doesn't have to be fast. It's written as grace notes, but you don't have to play them fast, right? It's just kind of an opening up of harmony to sort of set the stage in D flat major. So that would be 1, 3, 5. And then across, I would say with a 4. This is the kind of more important melodic note. So these ones are really in service of the top. That's where you land and kind of crystallize the sound. And when you arrive here, that's when the left hand comes in. Again, it doesn't have to be perfectly synchronized. This is very fluid music, so you can kind of generally get it in the right vicinity of playing at the same time. Sometimes I do a bit of a separation between that alignment. And there's the melody. So the right hand will have 5 and 1. The 5 is melodic. 3, 4, 5, and then reach down. You don't have to stretch, just arrive here. 3 and 1. Right. Don't rush that. When you put that together in that moment, together here, right hand, together there, right hand, and then the left hand travels back down to the low D flat, and it feels as though the whole sequence, the left hand accompaniment begins again. And it does begin again, but with some variation and some embellishment, which you'll see in a moment. So once more, that second bar. Nice. There you have it. That's the opening. So let me put all that together here under one pedal. Continues. It's the same contours, but there's some help from the right hand that needs to come in. Okay, so that'll do. Let me give you just a touch more moving forward. What'll happen next is the following. Right? So the left hand does what you're used to, 3 to 1. At the exact same time, we have an F and an F in the right hand, 1 and 5. Once more in the third bar, when you land on that downbeat, the left hand bottom note has begun already. Get into position on Fs in the right hand, and then together, showing this to you in both hands. It's easier to learn this way. Then as your hand travels across, you let go of the notes that you just played. 5 and 4 together with the left hand alone. And then another F and A flat. This time, left hand thumb on F, right hand second finger on A flat. So that's the left, and then that's the left and the right. Next, another 2 notes in the left, 5 and 3. Essentially what's happening here is you have 2 parallel lines that are occurring. So if you kind of just close your eyes and listen to it, it sounds as if there's 2 lines traveling in parallel. But the way that I've set out the fingering for you simplifies this to a great degree. So this moment where the left hand plays 2 at the same time, the A flat and the F, this one really belongs to the upper line, which is written in as the right hand note, but it's easier to play with the left hand on its own. Just having the left hand play both of these is simpler than having the right hand sort of get in the way of the left to try to play it. So these are some simplifications of fingering, which make this a whole lot easier than if you were just to play it by reading as it's written. And then this is between the hands, and then this is, again, the top note belongs to what would be the right hand, but it's easier to play it with the left. And then, as you're holding on to these bottom 2 notes, add this, a 2 and 1 in the left, A flat and G flat, and the right hand melody, 3, 4, 5, and then the next bar begins. Once more, that third bar is hold, add, and then we're down here. And that's the first little morsel. We play through once more from the beginning. And that's where we are. Once more with the pedal changes. Where they are, there's not too many of them. Change. Change. And for the next section, we'll continue that in the next part of the tutorial. I'll see you in just a bit. Let's move on forward.